Good day, everyone. Welcome to my neighborhood. In today's video, I wanted to talk about self-confidence, believing in yourself, and how a lack of this can take away from opportunities in your life and really create an experience of unfulfillment and fear. At least for me, it has. And, with all the stuff that I've been learning about, our beliefs and our emotions and how they, how they're just repeated throughout history and remembered in our muscle memory, like what we think about ourselves and what triggers us, and and I feel like when you're somebody that has a lack of self-confidence or lack of belief in yourself, like the background that I've come from, this way of being, and it being in your body, your memory, and some people might even go about their day believing that that's just who they are. Well, I'm that type of person. I don't really think highly of myself. I'm not very confident. And how I have believed that's who I am, but really it's just a patterned response that has been patterned into my way of being throughout the years. And you don't really know until you start paying attention to how your body responds to certain things that happens outside of you, like certain things that trigger you to make you feel bad about yourself. And so I've been really paying attention to myself lately in terms of my lack of belief in myself. And one thing that I've noticed is that it's very clear to me that I have this inner dialogue that sometimes I'm not even aware of, that automatically goes off when I make a mistake, or I do something that I try to make something, or I do something and it doesn't come out the way I expected. And at the same time, it's like I have this inner perfectionist, this inner critic that expects everything literally to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, I won't even really be aware of the thoughts coming into my mind. But what I will be aware of now that I'm focusing on it is the shittiest feeling in my body. And it's almost like this unconscious reaction that happens, this unconscious bodily response that happens, that sometimes I'm not even aware that it's happening, and then by then it's too late and I'm already in a shitty mood. And so I'm sharing this so that because I love learning about my own self and my patterns and my ways of being, so that I can share it with other people, to spread awareness and to help others. Okay, so I've been becoming aware of this really heavy feeling of feeling like shit after I mess up on something. And my advice to you is to start to become the observer of yourself. Okay? And if you think that you are just this person that is not very confident, if you want something different, you can actually change yourself and rewire your mind and your body. You just really need to start to become aware of those unconscious patterns. All right? And so some of my internal dialogue that I've realized that has continued this pattern of me not believing in myself, is that the internal dialogue is, well, you're not smart enough, you don't have anything to offer. People aren't going to be able to take your advice. You're not going to be able to help other people. And while I know consciously or like in the moment that that's not true, that is my old ways, my old patterned beliefs about myself that started long time ago, and they're so strong that I still have those days or those moments where it hits me like a ton of bricks and my body just feels heavy, like when I start to feel like bad about myself, pardon me. And like, I just want you to know that this isn't you. If you feel the same way, I acknowledge that this isn't me, and I've started to really pay attention in those moments when this happens. And to start to, actually, this happened to me last week, okay? Or 2 weeks ago, where I started to feel bad about myself about something, and I acknowledged it, and I even noticed like my body starting to like kind of go inwards. I was getting anxiety, I was feeling fear, but I didn't get too far in until I recognized that it was happening. And I was like, I stopped it in its tracks, and I was like, no, this is not happening. You're doing great, Kylie. We're gonna try again. It's okay. We're gonna do this. Like that's how I'm talking to myself. I'm just like kind of like, no, it's okay. We're gonna do this. Whatever. We're not listening to that voice. So like I changed, like I increased my state by like creating this like motivating voice inside of me. I kind of started to be playful. I'm like, that's our old way of being. That's not who we want to be. Okay? We're not going to sit around and continue feeling sorry for ourselves. We're not going to be able to get anything done today. And honestly, just by doing that, increased my state, increased my feelings of like feeling better and happier. And I was able to get through the work that I needed to get through that day. And I'm not saying that that's always going to work, but the more that you start to stop yourself in your tracks, when you start to feel that feeling of, I don't feel good, I feel shitty, I feel not good enough, I'm not smart enough, nobody likes me, don't fall for it. As long as you don't agree with it, you can start to change the way that your body responds to challenges in your external environment. Life is about learning new things, experiencing new experiences. You're not going to know how to do everything, and everything that you do in life is not going to be perfect, and there's always going to be room for improvement. And that is the truth of this human experience. If we came here knowing everything, what would we be here doing? We'd probably get bored of just having fun and eating food and indulging in sexual pleasures or what have you. This life is not, it wouldn't be what it is without the challenges and the need for growth, is what I believe we're here for. So if you tell yourself this truth in that moment of feeling like I'm shit, I'm not worthy, like if you challenge that voice, this is something else that I do. I don't know who I heard it from back in the day. Kylie. I don't remember now. But in that moment of feeling like you're shit, okay, I'm feeling this way, but what is the truth in this situation? What is the truth? Am I shit? No. Well, what's the truth? Well, I want to do better next time, whatever it is that I just did. Well, how can you do better? Right? Think of some constructive feedback that you would say to a child. Right? This is another way to embody a new way of being, is to ask yourself, how would I speak to a child? You're obviously going to try your best to give the most constructive and positive feedback to a child, because if you're mean to the kid and saying that he's a piece of shit and why didn't you do better, over time, talking to anybody like that, that person is going to end up feeling like shit and believing that and embodying that truth about them. So I find that changing the way that you think about things, obviously, because everything is mental, right? Then you end up changing your experience. And so the more you stop yourself when you start to feel that heaviness and that fear and the inner critic and the negativity and the beating yourself up, the more you stop yourself in those tracks and you change it in that moment, the more you can change your patterned responses in life. Because if you think about it, think about somebody who's, ends up making a mistake at something that they're doing, or ends up creating something and doesn't really like the result. Okay, there's two people, okay, that are doing the same thing. One person, every time they make a mistake, ends up giving up and not trying again, versus the other person looks as the mistake as, oh, I made a mistake, how can I do this better next time? Okay, well, I'm gonna try again because I want to do better next time. Long term, both these people are gonna have two different outcomes in their lives. The person that always gives up because they're like, I'm not good enough, is going to miss out on a shit ton of opportunities in your life or in their life. And the other person that takes the mistakes as a way to grow more and to learn from their mistakes is going to end up experiencing so many more opportunities in their life. And along the way, they're going to end up growing more resilient and strong, gaining a thick skin throughout all those experiences, that now in their life, they're able to overcome any challenge because they've been through it. But somebody that gives up at the first step, they're not going to be resilient and strong. Any little thing that happens in their life, they're going to end up giving up and running away, which limits your experiences in this life. And I know that it's scary. Can I tell you how scary it is sometimes to really put yourself out there? Like, look at me, creating this YouTube channel, my Instagram page, creating my coaching business, putting myself out there, quitting my 9-to-5 job. This was a huge step for me. And every video that I make, there's always a little part of me that is extremely afraid. But I'm still doing it because this is my dream. And I know that I deserve this. And I'm learning that fear is an adaptive trait that we need to be able to survive, right? But I'm gonna survive if I make a bunch of videos, right? No matter what, no matter how many followers or people like or don't like me or whatever, I'm gonna survive, right? So in this situation, I'm not going to allow my fear to take over, because I know that these experiences are going to help me grow, and I know that me putting myself out there like this is going to attract other people in my life that I'm supposed to be around, and it's going to help me follow my dreams. Okay? So, yes, you're going to feel the fear, but it's a matter of how are you going to respond to it? Are you going to give up because you're afraid, because you don't think that you're good enough? Are you going to listen to that voice, or are you going to strengthen that other voice that you have the power to create, which is the voice of empowerment and belief? If you don't believe in yourself, who will? What you can start doing to strengthen your inner belief in yourself is going and doing things that maybe in the past you would have said no to. There was a part of you that wanted to do it, but you would say no because you would feel insecure, or you'd have a lack of belief in yourself to do whatever it was. This is what I've started to do, is to start to say yes in opportunities, when opportunities arise. Okay? A couple of months ago, I was at my yoga studio, and I heard about a mindfulness workshop that was going on, and it was free. And so I asked the yoga studio owner when it was. I ended up showing up. The reason why I went was I wanted to see how this individual was doing this workshop about mindfulness, because that's right up my alley, and I want to start running workshops as well. So I put myself out there. I was like, I'm afraid to do workshops, but I'm going to go to this one lady's workshop, and I'm going to see how she does it, right? Putting myself out there, preparing myself to try to learn how to do this new thing that I've never done before. And so when I went, I was sitting in the room with all the people waiting for the lady to show up to do this workshop. And then the yoga studio owner came inside and was like, "Hey, Kylie, can you come outside for a second?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." I go outside, and he says, "The lady's going to be late. Can you run a half an hour workshop?" Okay? Now, in this moment, I'm feeling a bunch of different feelings inside of me, including my old fear-based, insecure feeling of, no, I can't do this. This is on the spot. I'm not doing it. But then the stronger voice that I had started to build upon became louder in my mind in that moment. And that voice said, "I know you're scared, but I don't care. We're doing this right now because this is the opportunity, okay, for you that you've been wanting or waiting for. This is going to be an opportunity for you to grow and to experience something that you want to do in the future. You can do this." Okay? And so I said to him, I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't even know what to talk about. Like, what am I going to..." And then I realized that same week I had just been working on creating a workshop. So I had an idea. So I was like, fuck it, let's do this. Even though I was scared, and I went and did it. But in the past, I probably would have said no, because that perfectionism part of me, I shouldn't even say perfectionism part. It's like that inner critic that just wants to like beat me up all the time and says, everything has to be perfect, right? No matter what, even if it's the first time you're doing it, it has to be perfect. Like this was my inner voice all the time. And doing something for the first time, it had to be perfect, which doesn't make any sense, because not everything is going to be perfect, especially when you're doing it the first time. But this was my inner critic for the longest time. But anyways, that voice wasn't as loud that day. The other voice was louder. So I ended up saying yes. I ended up doing the workshop for about half an hour, and it went great. I got positive feedback. My buddy ended up being there, and he ended up telling me some, constructive feedback constructive feedback for me as well. And yeah, so like I pushed past my fear, and then what I got out of that was an opportunity to experience something that I needed practice at, right? So, but if I were to have said no that day, then I would have never gotten that opportunity to really experience and embody the like running a workshop, which is what I want to do in the like now and in the future. So start to say yes to things that normally you would say no. Okay? And the more you start to practice and flex that yes, 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 no matter what, then you start to embody resilience and strength, and you're experiencing those experiences where you feel fear, but you're doing it anyway. Okay? And number 2, start to notice when your body just feels like, oh man, I feel like shit. Oh, you're such a piece of shit. Start to notice those moments. I'm really noticing those moments, and I'm stopping and I'm like, what am I saying to myself? Why am I feeling this way? Like, and there's a lot of those times. Okay. And I don't want that to be me, because then I'm going to not be able to experience the things in life that I want to experience and follow my passions and my dreams. Notice those moments when you feel like shit and snap yourself out of it. Say, no, not doing this. I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I'm me and I'm amazing and this is great and we're going to do it. Even if we're afraid, whatever. If we fuck up, whatever. Okay? Just go and do it. Nothing is going to be perfect the first time. You actually have to work at something to perfect it. Okay? So get up off your ass. Smile. Know that you're amazing. We are all amazing. We all have something to offer. Start believing in yourself. It's not who you are. You are not this insecure, non-confident person. This is not what you're naturally supposed to be. You can be whatever you want to be. You just have to start to pay attention. Okay? I hope that resonated with somebody. And I hope everyone has a great day, and remember to stay mindful.